So one of the things I wanted to get done on my Christmas vacation was to make some underwater mounts for our GoPro to make the footage steadier. Because if you just use a handheld mount, it's really unsteady, and I'll insert some video of some GoPro footage with a single hand hold. Because until you get used to doing it, you get really shaky footage. So I saw these made on YouTube, so I decided to make my own. And so I'm going to walk you through the process. I made one for me and Barbie, and we're going to test it out tomorrow while we go to the Manatee, go swimming with the manatees. So watch along, and what I'll do is I'll make sure I put in the pieces that I use and how much it costs. It is a DIY project, and you could probably buy one cheaper, but there's a certain satisfaction that comes along with just making one of yourself, you know. And so let's see how this project turns out. So this is going to be the cap that's going to hold the 1/4 by 20 threaded rod for the GoPro mount. So you got to drill a hole in the center of this, and then you're going to place some goop or some kind of sealant around it. So the best way to do it is just go ahead and put in one of the corner pieces that's going to act as to hold it steady for you. Make sure you don the appropriate safety gear when you're drilling. Now you want to try to drill it in the center as close as possible. Go ahead and take it apart. And it might push in a little bit like it did with mine. So just take a pair of channel locks, grab it, pull it right out. That leaves you a nice little hole. Now we're going to take a 1/4 by 20 by 3/4 in length screw, like so. Change out the bit of my drill. You want to make sure that you get the end of that surface cleaned off. Okay. Nice and smooth. Okay. Alright, now I'm noticing that it's not actually straight up and down, so I'm going to take that back out and drill it a little bit. And put on a locking nut. On the side, just go ahead and leave it like that because we can adjust for that with the GoPro mount. So we'll go ahead and put that on. I'm going to hold it with the pliers. Okay. That's going to lock it in place. Now I'm going to go ahead and glue these two pieces together. That way I always know it's that piece. So I'm going to put it towards the front. Okay, I'm only going to show how to glue this together once. So every time for future in this video, if I say you got to glue it, this is the steps that you're going to need to do. The PVC is a pretty smooth surface, so you're going to have to scratch it. I use 220 sandpaper to make it that way. They glue it a little better. So I'm going to sand on the outside of this and also on the inside of my junction. Okay, just take it. The goal here is to just rough the edges so the glue actually holds a little better. Just run your finger across it. If you feel it is a little sandy, that's perfect. I'm going to do the same thing with my thing. Again, just test it. Yep. So you need to go to the hardware store. You need to get purple primer and some kind of cement. I'm using clear cement for today, mostly because I'm messy. So I take the primer. You gotta be careful with this stuff because this stuff runs really easy, so I just kind of tap it a couple times and make sure that it's out. Then you just put it right inside, and then just put it inside there. Let that dry. Do the same thing with the outside of this. Let that dry. It doesn't take long for it to dry either. So the next thing we're going to put some cement on there. So what you're going to do is you're going to take the cement and you're going to put it around the coupling that you're going to stick in, and then when you push it in, you want to push it in and turn it, and so it goes in deeper and seats well. Okay. If you noticed, I got a mark on here. I got a mark on here. So when I get done, I want those two marks to line up because that's where I determined ahead of time that I want those two to fit. So you push and turn. And I'm not gonna get this in time. Let's use the ratchet. You gotta be quick because this stuff dries really fast. There we go. So they both line up. Then wipe off your excess glue. There's a couple of ways that you can cut PVC. The simplest is to get a PVC cutter, and I have one. I just seem to have misplaced it. I need to be better at putting my tools away. So I'm going to use basically a miter saw. So I'm going to use this with a hacksaw, and I've done some measurements with my wife and determined that she needs hers to be 9 inches wide. So we're just going to take this and we're going to cut it at 9 inches. So another thing I'm going to do is I'm going to dry fit everything together before I glue it to make sure it is the right dimensions for her. I need 2 upright pieces. We'll make them 6 inches total in length. And I need another one exact same length. So what I'm going to do is stand these side by side, take my Sharpie and measure where that is. Now when I cut this, I know that I have to be on this side of the mark in order to match up the same length as the other. Put it in, lock it in place. Did that right? Both the same size. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead, just leave this for now because I gotta figure out those measurements for those other pieces later. So I'm gonna move this off to the side. Now the way this works is, these are the pieces they're gonna be holding up with. So I need to put caps on these. This is the one that I made earlier. This one was mine. So what we've just made is this piece right here. This is the piece where you hold it up. Okay. First, we're going to dry fit everything together because I've got to make sure everything's level. And then what I'll do is I'll mark it with the marker. And then that way, when I put it back together, I know where those have to be. So this is the back side of that. go in these first. That's why I built the other one first, so I can make my mistakes off camera. That way you don't see them on camera. I want to make sure everything is straight, which
that'll work.
So one of the things I learned on the other one is if these aren't exact at 90-degree angles, it's kind of cockeyed. So I made sure everything fits. So when I put it back together, I want to make sure everything fits. So I'm going to put a line on all the couplers. That way when I put them together, I know that those have to match up. I'm going to paint this black anyway, so you won't see these lines when I get done. Okay. See. So this is the finished product. All I gotta do now is put on the GoPro mount and sand it and paint it. And it's already been test fitted by Barbie and it meets her approval. This is gonna stay with this mount permanently because you can buy these pretty cheap, so I really don't care. So I'm gonna take some super glue or Gorilla Glue. I'm gonna put some Gorilla Glue on the threads. That way this thing will never come off. And then I'm just going to screw this on. Okay. There we go. I'm going to spare you the sanding process, but I'm basically just going to take sandpaper, sand everything, and spray paint it black. I will show you the finished product when I'm done.